So this is the very first encounter we have with the board, the first time we've ever actually used it. So what happened here is our four heroes of the party, had been tricked by this gentleman over here into rescuing his family. So he said, from a big spidery mess that was coming and attacking his family and taking them and carrying them off. And so he had drugged them and brought them here and left them to die. There was the party and one other spellcaster that met with them in the ale house, and they were left to die in this cavern. And so each of them were stripped of all their gear and put in prison. And so we have the knight in prison, and he imprisoned the knight because he thought, you know, he's a little tougher. He's going to be harder to just keep tied up. And the dwarf is imprisoned as well, and there was a left healing potion there, if you can see that, just a healing potion left on the ground, which helped them get this foot on the ground. And so there's the jail cells, and these two guys are chained to that pole, and there's some goods there and a scorpion that was in the room at the time of the counter. And there is a pile of silver, another potion, and a candle, which is there, and a sword that they could take and use, which is actually a broken sword, a locked door. And then there was a door here. Actually, I didn't have skeletons in the part of the campaign, but what happened is they roll a 1, and in the way we play in a roll of 1, they get a random card, and the random card produced 3 skeletons. So the 3 skeletons invaded them just after they unchained each other, but they were weaponless other than that sword over there. They had 1 weapon, and so they had to fight the scorpion off, and the 3 skeletons with nothing but their hands and that 1 sword and their magic powers that they had. The dwarf is a rune dwarf, so he had some runes that he could use as well, draw, and so that helped him out a bit. And so they fought off. They stole the spear from 2 of the skeletons, disarming them, and they were able to use the spears on them. Now, after the skeletons were dispatched, let's get rid of them. After the skeletons were dispatched, they entered this room, which the door was not there at the time, and they found a man chained to the wall, about to be eaten by spiders, and they dispatched the spiders with some spells, and then unchained the man. And when they unchained the man, his hands dropped the chains receded back in, and the well that lets the spiders in opened up. And as it opened up, they actually lost a potion down there, because there was a potion sitting there. It had opened up, and the trap was sprung, and the gate came down and shut on the unexpected victims. Now, at that point, the dwarf and the knight were in the room, and the elf and the spellcaster were actually out of the room. So all they could do was stand by the bars and cast spells at things they could see. The archer doesn't have a bow yet, so he couldn't even shoot. So he was kind of useless. So he went back and looked around in the chest and stuff, and in the piles, and found some herbs that he could make some stuff with in the future. And other than that, he was pretty useless. He scavenged the skeleton bodies and found a shield, which he passed through the bars to help defend these guys. They dispatched the spiders pretty easy. The other spellcaster helped with that. But then the trick was, how do we get the spiders to not come in? So every second turn, a massive amount of spiders would keep rejoining. So we had a never-ending spider battle, and they just kept rejoining through the hole, and they would just be coming out like crazy. And so they're fighting these spiders, and they're getting overwhelmed. Well, they figured out that they take the chest, and they carry it and put the chest over. Take the chest, and they carry the chest over and put it on the well, so the spiders couldn't push through the well. And the chest was with 500 gold. So the 500 gold would hold that hole shut. Spider legs and stuff would come through, but nothing would come through. But they removed some of the gold and the weight because they were being greedy. They wanted some of the gold, and the weight of the lightning chest allowed spiders to come through again. So they had to weigh it back up with the 500 gold. Still did not know how to get out of the bars. The key was figured out that the chains lift the bars and shut the gate, so they could hold it. So they held it open for a little while, passing things through, and they needed to break something up so they all can get out. There was a bit of an argument between the dwarf who loves the money and the knight who just wants to do what's noble, whether to leave all the gold in the chest and chain it to the chain and lift the door out and have the spider's door close. After a little while, they took out 200 gold of that 500 gold and replaced it with the bags of flour to create the weight that they needed to hold the door open. So they held the door open, and they all escaped back into this room. Luckily enough, they could pull a random card that gave them a key so they can get out of this door. It was a random card, so they got lucky to get out this door, and we ended our first session with them at the door, being able to escape. There's still more of the dungeon. I have put just a hallway down and a room, but there's a lot more, but they might watch this, and I don't want them to see where we're going with it. Okay, thank you guys. It's first update. Bye.